So Josh, how you feeling? It looks like on that long play with the throw from Garantano, you got nicked up a little bit. How you feeling?
Yeah, it was just a little bang, but I'll be good.
Long pass plays where Garantano gets hit, they're deep balls, you come up with it, and you get dinged up. You're just finding those deep balls from him, right?
So we practice in the game. We just do what we did in practice. Nothing really special.
Josh, why was last Saturday such a struggle for you guys?
We didn't execute as well as we should have. Charlotte had a good defense, had a good defensive plan, so we should have just came in with a better mindset and just focus on what we had to do. I mean, we made mistakes, but mistakes that could be fixed.
After the way y'all played last week, how much incentive does it give this offense to kind of show what you're capable of?
I mean, it wasn't the first time that we didn't execute the way we should have coming into this week, and we just have to execute it simply.
That flea flicker was maybe one of the more bizarre plays of the season. Can you kind of take us through that play and just how you saw it develop from your perspective?
Obviously, because I was running the route, so I mean, I just had to focus and try and catch the ball.
Is it more like catching a punt or a kickoff than a pass, or how was that?
It just had a weird rotation on the ball, so I mean, I had a lot of time to size it up, and I guess you could say it was a punt return.
What did you think happened when you saw it was that high?
I don't know what happened because, again, the quarterback was behind me, so I just saw the ball in the air. I was like, oh, okay, I just got to adjust to catch this. And the DB tripped, so it made it a lot easier.
Josh, when you saw the way this kind of offense was being developed, did you have a sense that you would be like a big play threat, that you would get this many yards per catch and then be that downfield guy?
Kind of. I mean, all of us have the ability to make those plays. It's just that I've been in to make those plays. So I mean, throughout the offense, I mean, I've been in great positions. So I'm just happy that I've been able to come down with those plays and make an impact for the team.
I think Marquez has said a couple times this year that you know, both with some of the older receivers and with the coaches, they might be harder on you than the rest of the guys because they know what kind of player you can be. But does that make it easier to take when you're kind of getting the business from them?
No, it's motivation. I mean, I'm surrounded by a great group of receivers, and they push me as well as the coaches, so we all benefit from each other.
Josh, how much better have you gotten, and how much have you focused on going and getting the ball in the air compared to what you did maybe last year?
Coach Pruitt is really hard on me on high pointing the ball, and so is my wide receiver coach. So going into every game in practice, I just try to focus on what they tell me to do because they're telling me for a reason. So they're trying to help me the best way they can.
Has that been maybe the biggest thing you've focused on the last month or so of the season, or really all season long?
Yeah, high pointing the ball.
When y'all watched the film from Saturday, what stood out that was different about why you didn't have success versus what happened in South Carolina?
Just mental errors. Again, Coach Pruitt preaches that it's always going to be about us and what we let them do and the mistakes we make that hurt us in the long run. So again, we just try to focus on the mistakes we made and just try and fix them, all fixable mistakes.
Do you think that was just a lack of focus that I don't want to say you're overlooking Charlotte, but maybe you guys just weren't dialed in as much as you needed to be?
We definitely didn't overlook Charlotte. We knew they had a good defense. They were ranked top 10, I think, in rush defense. So I don't think we overlooked them, but again, I don't think we weren't focused mentally. And again, there's mistakes that we made and they're fixable mistakes.
When you talk about mental errors, what do those look like? What do you mean?
Mental errors? Maybe missing a block, just the wrong assignment, just simple stuff.
Gosh, what has allowed you to take a step forward this year? You mentioned high pointing the ball and all that, but I mean, you've obviously been pretty productive all year. What would you say is the biggest difference in your game overall?
Knowledge. I gained a lot of knowledge from my freshman year to this year, so the game's a lot slower to me now.
You've already beaten one ranked team this year. Now you're playing a top 15 team that's interested in making a New Year's Six Bowl. What kind of incentive is this for you guys as y'all try to develop this program?
It's big. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of eyes on this game, but we just want to come out and execute the best way we can.
Josh, what's the one thing that if you guys do wrong makes Coach Johnson the most upset?
I mean, I'd like to say high pointing because he preaches that a lot, but I mean, if you do anything wrong, really, any coach would get upset because you're doing it wrong. So, I mean, we take pride in doing everything right. So, obviously, if something is not done right, then we'll get yelled at.
Coach Spruce talked about how the team has improved and how it's practiced as the year has gone on. How have you improved as a practice player this year?
Just staying focused and treating every rep like it's a game rep, and not taking a play off and running every route like I'm gonna get the ball. So that's one thing that the team we try to focus on. Like whether it's from the DB standpoint, like defending that receiver because he might get the ball in this play, or this may be the game-winning sack. So we just try to take every play like it's a game rep, like it's the last play on the line.
Josh,
Pick two more guys.
What's the next kind of step in your game? You talked about kind of high pointing the ball, and you've been kind of a big play threat this year. What's the next step for you as you kind of continue growing as a player? The thing you really want to work on.
Still knowledge. Letting the game come slower to me. I mean, just one-on-one situations, just becoming better in my routes, getting a lot tighter, quicker.
Josh, Jared, I think, mentioned after the Auburn game, that he thought you were all SEC player, basically, but he made it clear he thought last year was maybe tough for you at times. Was it social media, or what was last year kind of like? Was there something you had to deal with, and how did you kind of get past all that?
I mean, social media does play a part on a lot of players around college football, especially if you have a bad game. They're quick to get on you. But, I mean, when you're surrounded by a bunch of players that know the ability you have, you kind of ignore the social media and you just stay focused on what has to be done.